44-year-old woman is accused of having sex with a minor following a teenager's birthday party in Florida, according to the local officials. I mean, just trash. You're 44 years old and you're trying to have sex with a 17-year-old. The fuck is wrong with your desperate housewife ass? Joe Rogan is worried about his constitutional rights as a straight white man to be able to speak. And Mr. Menges is worried about his constitutional right as a gay white man to be able to fuck kids. Yo, what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Make sure that you smash the like button and make sure that you drop a comment for your boy. Joe Rogan just recently came out with a statement and he said, oh my God, I don't know what's going on here, but if things progress the way that they're going to keep progressing, then straight white men aren't going to have any rights and they're not going to be able to say anything. Well, okay, I don't think that that's true because straight white men have access to some of the most powerful weapons on the planet. So I don't think anybody is silencing straight white men anytime soon, despite the fact that a lot of you all don't have too much, of any value to add to any conversation. Unfortunately, nobody's going to be shutting you up anytime soon. You have the same free speech. Actually, you have more speech than everyone else, and that's not going away anytime soon, despite the fact that everybody wants to come in first in the oppression Olympics. I'm sorry, Joe, you lost that one. All right. And honestly, what you should be worried about is the rights of straight white women. Because apparently in Florida, in the system of illegitimacy that we have, there's a Florida woman accused of sexual activity with a 17-year-old as a 12-year-old slept nearby. Now, if you guys haven't watched, I have a video airing on Blacklight Revelations 2 pretty soon, and it's the one with the LGBTQ flag, all right? But as a prelude to that video, I'm going to bring you to this. All right, because I want to compare these two things here. All right. So if you see here, this took place in Idaho. It was a man who had sex at 18 with two 16-year-old boys in Idaho, and he won a court case against Montana. What ended up happening with this guy was he was in Idaho and he was 18, and he was at some kind of camp for vulnerable boys, and he decided to have some kind of relations with two 16-year-olds there. Now, in Idaho, he was prosecuted under some sex offender act. I think he was prosecuted for like sodomy and acts against nature is what I actually think that they called the law. But what I find interesting is I guess that in Idaho, the age of consent is 16. This dude was 18. He was an adult at the time when this took place. And he was at a place for vulnerable youth when he did it. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is a, LGBTQ man. He had sex with two 16-year-olds. Pause that. Here in Florida, in the system of illegitimacy, some oddball woman, decided to have sex, or she was accused of sexual activity with the 17-year-old. Now, she had sex, if she did indeed have sex with a 17-year-old, you know what I mean? That 17-year-old is older than 16-year-olds. So, that's kind of interesting. So let's check this out and see what the details of this case are. Florida woman accused of sexual activity with 17-year-old as 12-year-old slept nearby. A 44-year-old woman is accused of having sex with a minor following a teenager's birthday party in Florida, according to the local officials. Just trash. You're 44 years old and you're trying to have sex with a 17-year-old. The fuck is wrong with your desperate housewife ass? The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office said suspect Jessica Ray Good, her name should be Jessica Ray Not So Damn Good, allegedly hung out with minors at the Port Charlotte home on May 9th after she came back from a long night of drinking. Ugh, nasty. She is accused of engaging in sexual activity with the 17-year-old while 12-year-old was sleeping nearby. The 12-year-old claims to have witnessed the sexual activity after waking up. So if he witnessed the sexual activity after waking up, then why in this article do they keep talking about how he was sleeping? The 17-year-old victim, so he was a victim. He got up from the love seat, went to use the restroom, then returned to the love seat where the suspect was laying. The sheriff's office wrote in a report. At this time, the sexual activity continued between the 17-year-old victim and Good. Immediately after, Good retrieved her clothing, personal belongings, and left the home. So she just hit it and quit it. Oh. She looked like old victimizing type. She probably told you, oh, God, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Last week, the 17-year-old told an employee at a Florida high school that they were raped over the weekend, according to the sheriff's office. That's interesting. Good was charged last week with 2 counts of unlawful sexual conduct and activity with a minor. She is also charged with 2 counts of child abuse. Officials say Good was intoxicated when she arrived at the home on May 9th. Good is accused of giving alcohol to the 17-year-old that night and of making extremely inappropriate sexual comments, the sheriff's office said. So that's a lot, you know what I mean? But what I find interesting about that situation is that she's in jail and she had sex with a 17-year-old. Now, I'm curious if there's anybody who watches this video, if you know what the age of consent is in Florida, let me know. All right, because here, this is a really interesting case. And if you guys haven't, make sure you go to Blacklight Revelations 2 and smash the like button and hit the bell icon for notification on the video that I plan on airing in a couple days with the LGBTQ flag. You'll see it, and one way to easily see it is if you go to my community page. But that video is primarily about this story here. And this story here is a whole debacle about a man from Idaho who moved to Montana. And Montana doesn't remove your sex offender registry issues that you may have. All right. And he wanted to get it erased, but Montana won't do it. I think Idaho actually ruled to do it. You know what I mean? So this is interesting. I'm going to read this real quick because I think they have an abbreviated version of it, but make sure you watch the video that's airing in a couple days. Man who had sex at 18 with 2 16-year-old boys in Idaho wins a court case against Montana. Now, at the time, I don't think he had won the court case. I don't think he had won the court case yet, but apparently looks like he has won since then. The state of Montana has no valid reason to require a man to register as a sex offender based on his conviction for having gay sex in Idaho in 1993. In 1993, a federal judge has ruled. U.S. District Judge Dana Christensen on Tuesday prevented the state from requiring Randall Manges of Butte. And again, you know, I find it kind of interesting that this pervert decided to move to a city called Butte to register as a sex offender under Idaho's Crimes Against Nature law. He had consensual gay sex when he was 18 years old in southwest Idaho. None of the governmental interests in maintaining a sexual offender registry are served by Menges' inclusion, Christensen wrote. Engagement in intimate sexual contact with a person of the same sex without more cannot be said to render someone a threat to the public safety. My thing is that this dude was behaving like a predator. He specifically went to a place where he knew that there were vulnerable youth. You know what I mean? He specifically went to a place where he knew that there were vulnerable youth. And my question is how is it better or worse, one way or another, for a woman to have sex with a 17-year-old versus a male having at 18 having sex with 2 16-year-olds? And my bigger question about this is why in 2021 is this even a damn thing? You know what I'm saying? Menges was arrested after police found that he and 2 16-year-old boys had engaged in sexual activity with each other. Oh, disgusting. Police reports from the investigation reflect that the sex was consensual. See, so my question is, when it comes to this other case, are they going after it the way that they're going after it because there was alcohol involved? Because in that case where it was a woman and a boy, the boy was 17, but there was alcohol involved. They don't say anything about alcohol being involved here, but I mean, it was two 16-year-olds. And again, they were at a camp for vulnerable youth. He served about 7 years in Idaho State Prison, as well as additional years on probation. He moved to Montana after he was discharged his sentence. He was required to register as a sex offender. The state was wrong in not allowing Menges to challenge the registration requirement, even though his conviction in Idaho was for actions that are now constitutionally protected, the judge found. I guess I'm just grateful, honestly, that the judge actually listened and was fair, because for the last few years of my life, I didn't feel like anything's been fair, Menges said on Wednesday. In my opinion, you should have thought about that before you went to a camp for vulnerable kids and decided to have sex with two of them. You know what I mean? That kind of comes with that shit. The fuck? I mean, that's just some stupid shit. You would do something like that, and then you're running around all sad and depressed. Oh, I just can't get a damn job. You don't need to get a job because you were actually working at that place where you decided to victimize those two boys. You know what I'm saying? You getting away with it on a technicality because the judges are being grateful to you because we live in a system of illegitimacy. It's too bad the judge in Oklahoma is not being grateful to that black dude who happened to, you know what I'm saying, kill that white man that came on his property when he was trying to steal his marijuana plants. They looked for every reason to try to prosecute him for a manslaughter charge, but they're looking for every reason to get this, sexual degeneracy off of your sexual registry. Again, we live in a system of illegitimacy, you know what I mean, where we're making constitutional degenerate acts. Christensen ordered the state to remove Menges from the registry on or before May 21st, expunge any records indicating he was ever subject to registration, and alert all agencies that may have been provided information about Menges' registration. The Attorney General's office is appealing the ruling, arguing that it weakens the state's sex offender registry laws and it opens it up to additional challenges from out-of-state lawyers who are more interested in politics than the safety of Montana children, spokesperson Emily Cantrell said in a statement. You don't violate someone's constitutional rights to strengthen your own laws, Menges said after hearing the state's reason for appealing the decision. This motherfucker has nerve. If they decide to do anything, you know what I mean, then you just need to go ahead and walk on past, because and then you have Joe Rogan sitting up here talking about he's worried that straight white men are going to not be able to speak. Are you serious? Straight white men are allowed to speak. Gay white men are allowed to fuck kids. What are you talking about, dude? This is your world. You're not losing anything. This motherfucker just got the right to get his name removed off of a damn sexual offender registry, and he literally just fucked two 16-year-old boys at a camp for vulnerable youth. Fuck. Joe, did you hear about this shit? Menges, 45, filed the lawsuit in December, arguing the registration requirement violated his constitutional rights. Wow. His complaint also said the registration requirement were hurting his ability to find employment and housing. So, you know, Joe Rogan is worried about his constitutional rights as a straight white man to be able to speak. And Mr. Menges is worried about his constitutional right as a gay white man to be able to fuck kids. Sick. His complaint also said the registration requirements were hurting his ability to find employment and housing. This case involves the lingering effects of centuries of homophobic sodomy prohibitions, his attorney Matthew Strugger wrote in the original complaint. Well, you know, it'd be nice if we got some reparations for all the sodomization that happened to our ancestors back in the days. But again, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. It only matters when it's, like Joe Rogan said, when it's a straight white man, or in this case, when it's a gay white man. But when you pumping slaves out of damn breeding farm and even doing it to the male ones who no breeding is going to take place with, I guess it doesn't matter. Huh. After hearing arguments on the case, Christensen found the registration requirement was an ongoing violation of Minge's rights due process and equal protection and privacy. Montana is imposing adverse legal consequences on Minges for engaging in the sort of conduct constitutionally protected by Montana's right of privacy, the judge wrote. So you have the right. You have the right to two 16-year-olds consenting. I don't know what to say about that. In 2003, the U.S. Supreme Court found that sodomy laws, which typically ban oral and anal sex, are unconstitutional. Struger and the American Civil Liberties Union are suing Idaho over its law that criminalizes oral and anal sex. Minges, who served 7 years in prison for his 1994 conviction, is a plaintiff in that case as well. And the interesting thing is this motherfucker will probably make out from this case. He'll probably make a lot of money on this case, and he will be A-okay. You know what I mean? In a system of illegitimacy, when you break a law, you're rewarded for your behavior. In this case, this dude is about to be a national hero for the LGBTQ community, opening up the doors for men to be able to have sex with boys. You know what I'm saying? Validating NAMBLA, which is a disgusting and nightmarish thing to think about. But that's the Joe Rogan talking points. You know what I'm saying? He's worried that straight white men won't be able to speak. And then I was listening to a broadcast tonight, and they said that the next thing to happen is that, you know, gay white men won't be able to speak. Well, listen, first of all, like I said, straight white men have access to the most powerful weapons and all of the money in the world. Gay white men can get whatever rights they want because they not only have the feminist movement behind them, but they have the LGBTQ movement around them. And pedophiles, the gay white pedophiles, have already been getting away with everything. Look at Epstein. Look at Weinstein. You know what I'm saying? Look at the shit that's coming out about Bill Gates. Look at the Clintons, Pizzagate. You know what I mean? So miss me with that fake outrage shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't shit changing for nobody around here, except for the fact that kids now, you know, they need to start carrying guns and pepper spray at a younger age. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If I offended you, I don't give a fuck. Maybe you need to go look in the mirror, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.